Hi everyone, it's Anna. I am the owner of the Polish website To jest twój czas, twoje wewnętrzne dziecko. This is your time, your inner child. And usually I make this kind of videos in Polish, but a while ago I was asked by one of my friends who does not speak Polish to explain her how I work with inner child. What is it about to work with inner child? What is it about to connect with inner child? So I decided to make that video so I could explain what it means to work with inner child. I started working with inner child a while ago as well, and although my personal growth and my spiritual growth started long time ago, but I couldn't find the method that would be so good and would help me so much, because for most of my life I felt like I'm lost. I didn't know who I was. I didn't have any control in my life. I let people to cross my borders, and I let people to decide for me, and all this kind of things when I felt like I don't deserve, I am not enough. So all this kind of beliefs, all this kind of emotions that like anger. I felt so much anger, and I couldn't help myself anymore. I couldn't stand that anger inside me. And all the methods I tried before, actually they didn't work for me, because I had to concentrate first on my anger. I had to take care of that anger. I had to learn how to deal with that, and I had to accept the anger that I have inside. After that, I could start feeling love. But before, every time I started working with any different method, I thought, that was also my belief, I thought that I am not allowed to feel my anger. I am not allowed to feel fear. I am not allowed to be upset and all these kind of things. Because every time I was working on myself, I was trying to be a different person. I was trying to be somebody else. I was pretending that I don't have that feelings. I was pretending I was actually cheating on myself, actually, and saying myself that even that I felt my anger, even that I was upset, I was always saying to myself that no, you are not allowed to feel this, because you are in personal growth, you are in spiritual growth. You are not allowed to feel that emotions, because we think that anger, or when we upset, or when we jealous, that there are emotions that we are not supposed to feel when we are in personal growth or spiritual growth. But this is not true. And when I found inner child, working the methods that allowed me to work with inner child, I finally found the method that worked for me, because I could concentrate on my anger first. I could give back the emotions that were inside me to people that hurt me the most, because this is what's about and work with inner child. You give them back the emotions, you give them back the beliefs that they gave you. So I mean by they, I mean your parents, people that hurt you the most. And most of the time they are your parents, your brothers or sisters. So I decided to work with inner child, because I felt like I am not strong enough to deal with life anymore. I felt very overwhelmed, and especially when I got married, I had kids. I really felt like I cannot do it anymore. I felt like I cannot get up from my bed. I felt like I don't wanna live anymore. Basically, the pain that was inside, and this emptiness, no reason. Even my kids, they weren't make me happy, nothing. Because when you have so much pain inside, when you feel like you cannot deal with your life, then nothing from outside, it's gonna make you happy. You have to take care of yourself. You have to deal with that. You have to heal your life. You have to go back to the past and heal your traumas, heal the experiences. Go back to that situation when you made decisions that you are not enough, that you don't deserve. And this is basically how you work with inner child. You also work on your beliefs, because you might be not conscious of your beliefs about yourself. Because quite often the beliefs that we behave according to, unfortunately, we are not aware of them. They are hidden inside, very deep inside. And we behave constantly the same, and then we ask ourselves, why did I do this again? Why, and why? This is because you behave according to your belief system that you have. This is like the program you have. This is the program that you got from your parents, from your brothers and sisters, from your teachers. But most of the times, this is the program that you have from your parents, or from the people that were taking care of you, that were raising you. And we do have that program. We sometimes are not aware of this, but we do have it. And if you weren't treated right, if you were abused, and in any way, yes, and physical and mental, then we go in our life and we even don't realize that we have that beliefs that we are not enough, that we don't deserve, and we feel like victims in our lives. That's how I felt for almost all my life. Even that someone who knew me might think that, oh, she's okay, but what I had inside me, it was the battle, the constant battle inside me, and the voice that telling me that I am so bad, that I am not enough, that I am worthless. Every time comparing myself to different people, every time having authorities, and every time wanting to be like these people. I didn't know what it means to be myself, what it means to be me, who I was, how I feel, how I felt. It was very, very hard. And when I had kids, constantly they were showing me what I have to do, how I would have to start working with myself to heal my life. I didn't want to even hear myself. And this is also what happens when you start working with inner child. You start trusting yourself, you start trusting your intuition, your inner voice that we ignore for a very long time. Because when we don't have that connection with inner child, we don't hear that voice. We have intuition. Everyone has intuition, but not everyone listens to intuition, because we more are in our heads. Yeah, we more listen to that voice, which is telling us that we are not enough, that we don't deserve, that we shouldn't this or that. And then we have a lot of fear, and we are afraid to try to heal our life. We are afraid to make changes as well. And of course, it's normal, the way how we feel, until we finally start feeling exhausted. We start feeling like really, really helpless. And when we hit the bottom, then we finally, quite often it's like that, then we finally deciding that, okay, we have to change our life. So if you feel overwhelmed by your life, if you feel like you don't have control, or if you feel like everything is okay but you don't feel happy, why you don't feel happy? Do you love yourself? Do you have this? Who is the most important person in your life? What would be your answer if I ask you right now, who is the most important person in your life? What would you say? Ask yourself that question and look for the answer. And I will tell you only that for me, when I asked myself this question, everyone else was more important. Yes, everyone else, but not me. So working with inner child, we learn how to take care of ourselves, how to behave like we are really the most important people in our lives, because this is how it should be. We always have to be first. So we heal our beliefs about ourselves. We start loving ourselves, because this is the most important thing. we're not gonna love ourselves if we won't erase these beliefs that are not supporting. We have to erase that, and we have to put in that instead of that the beliefs that are supporting us, like I deserve. Right now I make decision that I am important to myself, that I will take care of myself, that I am really the most important person in my life, and I'm becoming that parent that I never had. So I am becoming that parent who will loves me, who will support me, who will trust me, and all that feelings then I will feel, because when first I have to give that to that inner child, to all that feelings to that inner child who didn't get that feelings, yes, who didn't feel love, who was lost, who was scared, who was crying very often and who was shouting for help. But very often we don't hear that voice. So we also go in alcohol, we also go in drugs, because we don't want to hear that voice. We feel so much anger, we feel so much pain, but we won't do anything. So if you feel like, if you have troubles, if you feel like you're lost, you don't know who you are, then the working with the inner child is really great method to heal your life. And I will tell you quickly how to work it, how you do this. You basically sit down, you close your eyes, and you start feeling your emotions. If it's anger, or maybe you've got constantly the situations that making you upset. So then you sit down with that emotion, and you ask yourself, when you felt this way before, when was it so strong? Is it new or is it old? When I felt this way? And then you go back, and then you ask, okay, show me the situation, please show me the situation when I felt like that. Show me the person in the front of whom I felt this way. And then you start processing your emotions. You go deep inside. And if you have the person, if you have the situation, then you can give them back all your pain. You can back all the emotion, the anger, because it's not yours. It's not yours. The pain you've got, the emotions you've got, it's not yours. It's usually from the people, from your parents. Yes, that they couldn't deal in a different way. So they were putting all their beliefs, all their emotions at you. You were only a child. You didn't have a choice. You didn't know how. So you were taking everything from them. So working with inner child is a time when you you give them back everything what they gave you, and everything what is not supporting you, what's making you unhappy. You have the right. You give yourself a right, actually, to heal your life, to heal your life, to give them back all these emotions, all the situations that in which they didn't treat you right. So this is basically how you work with inner child. You process your emotions. You dive deep, very deep. This is the process when you processing your emotions. It's very deep work, and that's why this method is very important, because you just deal with your emotions. You just go to the situation when you weren't treated right. You have to hear the situations, and there is no any other way to do that. If you feel lost, if you feel overwhelmed by life, if you feel like you don't have a purpose, if you feel like your single day, every day is the same, and you don't want to do this anymore, because this fire that is in your belly is gone. Somebody just turned it off and it's gone. You don't have the passion for life. You think that life is a struggle, it's very hard because that's what happens to you. You've got all the time situations that will show you that life is very hard. And trust me, I was the same. I struggled. I had that battle inside me. I struggled with the situations. I end up in a conflicts with people. I end up in fights. I end up all the time in fight with my husband, with my kids. I was shouting, was yelling because I couldn't stand myself. This voice in my head was so strong that I just didn't want to hear it. And I thought that if I will behave this way, I will finally release that. But it won't happen. You can shout whatever you want at people, you can do whatever you want, but you will feel this. You will feel this all your life until you will take care of your emotion. Until you will start healing your life. And this is the most important thing that you can do for yourself. So if you feel like that, if you feel like you lost, this is the great method that will work for you. And also the benefits are also for your partners, for your kids, because when you start learning this method and you start working with your inner child, you finally will become that person you want. I always want to be that person in my head, that woman who is strong, who is independent, who is in control, who is in charge of her life. But I didn't know how to do this. People were telling me. I was going through the different kind of methods, and people were telling me, but it didn't work because the people were telling me. In a moment when I was in a conversation with them, I understood everything perfectly clear. But then, when I was back at my home, in the situation that, for example, again, I felt in front of my husband like I am a victim, I couldn't do anything with that. Even that I was protecting myself, I was shouting, I was yelling, but it didn't work because I had to go deep inside and I had to see what inside me, why I behave this way. So this all information why we behave this way has your inner child. So this is not subtle work. It's very intensive work, yes, and you have to prepare yourself that this is really intensive work. But I invite you to that work because quite often I hear people, I want to behave like this, I want to be like this, but I cannot do this. And also, when you're deciding to work with inner child, please stick with your decision. Please make very clear decision that you will make that work, that you will heal your life, because nobody will do it for you. Nobody. You have to do it. You have to go to that inner child, to your child. You have to take care of that child. You have to make it happen. Nobody will do it for you. And also, working with inner child is working with a situation that triggers you. So if you have, for example, the situation you fight with your husband, or every time you feel like a victim, then you go sit down with that situation and you process the emotion. So this is the exact the same. You just put that person in the front of you. You just give them back all the emotion, you give them back all the anger, and then you ask again, when I felt this way before that person, when did I feel like it, like that, exactly like that, when I was treated this way. And then you process this again with your parent. Most of the time it's gonna your parent, yes, it's gonna your mom, or it's gonna be your mom or your dad. So you process that. And then after that, you sit down with your inner child, with this little girl or with this little boy, and you're telling them how much you love them, even if at the beginning it might be hard. At the beginning you might not have that feelings. You might not feel like they're important. But it's gonna come. It's gonna come through time. So you're starting taking care of, you're starting actually to take care of your inner child, to be there, to be supportive, to be um, supportive. Actually, this is the most important thing. And you're starting to showing them the inner child, your inner child, showing that you will be there if we feel if he or she will feel angry or scared or not enough or like she doesn't deserve. You showing that she deserves or he deserves. You showing up. You are there for yourself. You don't hide. You don't run away anymore from yourself. So that's why it's so important. This work is so important because most of our life we run away from ourselves. We don't want to feel what we feel because we think it's not right. But everything what you feel it's right because it's a reason. It's a reason for that you feel this emotion. And most of the time these emotions will show you why you feel this way. So I really invite you to work with inner child. I really invite you to do that work because it's very the reward you will get. I cannot even describe with words. I cannot even describe because how life can change, how you can be happy, how you can enjoy your life. It's very, very important. So if you would like to also work with me, I invite you to work with me. I do the sessions online, and if you would think that if you felt uh, if you felt that feeling, if you had that feeling when you watched me that you would like to work with me, I invite you to do the sessions to work with me. I will put the link under the movie, under the video, and you can write to me the email. You can write to me, and I will, even if you have any questions and about working with inner child, the questions that maybe I didn't cover in that video. So if you would like to ask me anything, please don't hesitate to contact me, and I will also answer all the questions. All the sessions I do are online. We do through Messenger or any different platform that we can see each other, that we can contact. And we go very deep. So all the processes are very deep. It's a very deep work. So if you feel like you would like to contact me, if you would like to work with me, don't hesitate to do that. Okay, I hope that I covered most of the things. And also, there's one more thing that I right now I have in my mind, because that might be also misunderstanding between working with inner child and meditating with inner child or meditation with inner child. There are two different things. Working is a processing with your emotions. It's going very deep, going through the situations, and meditation is a different thing. So if you would like to meditate with your inner child, you can also just sit down, close your eyes and imagine your inner child, but you don't process your emotions. You just go, you don't work with anger. You just go and you just imagine your inner child, you connect with your inner child, and you might do that as well if you wish, but it's a little bit different than the working with the method. Yes, working with the method with inner child. So for more information, if you would like to have more information, contact me. And yeah, okay, I think that right now it's everything. I hope you enjoyed that movie, that video, and okay, I think that that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Take care. Bye bye.